Hey everyone, Chris here for Thoman's Guitars and Basses. In today's Master Your Tone episode, we'll talk about how fuzz pedals sound radically different depending on the guitar and the pickup type you're playing. Humbuckers, active humbuckers, single coils, you gotta be careful. For today's demonstration, I've chosen fuzz face pedals because why not? One of the most beloved traditional circuits where you'll find modern takes on that same topology. So we'll start with the OG. This is the red mini Germanium fuzz face. I love this pedal. It's beautiful and it loves single coil pickups. That's why I'll start with a guitar that is most probably going to work really well with this pedal. I have the amp cranked. This is the deluxe reverb, and this is how it sounds like without the fuzz pedal. As you can hear, the amp is not set for a clean sound. This is kind of important when you play with fuzzes, because if you set your sounds like the amp super clean with a lot of headroom, fuzz pedals will usually be really harsh and not very musical. Not all of them, of course, there are exceptions, especially modern fuzzes, but most fuzzes still prefer a hint of breakup after it. So that's what's happening here. Let's see how the fuzz face Germanium Mini sounds with a single coil loaded guitar. It's big and warm and just really nice to listen to. It's not harsh, but it doesn't get too woolly. It's not over-compressing. It's not muddy. It's just a beautiful, big, round sound, something that we know from so many famous fuzz players. Now, let's see how the same fuzz face Germanium pedal sounds like with passive humbuckers. Even though that's a cool and interesting sound, it's not very articulate, is it? It's the thing about traditional fuzzes. A lot of them don't really love humbuckers. This has to do a lot with the impedance of these guitars, because if you have a humbucker loaded guitar, you usually have a 500K pot, which means that that impedance is going to be different compared to a 250K pot on a single coil guitar. All of these things matter, and we'll probably want to make you choose a different fuzz to get rid of this almost collapsing, overcompressed sound. Now let's see how active pickups sound with the same fuzz. Well, yeah, that's just one more step in that direction. It's just too much information, too much signal going into such a delicate circuit as like a Germanium fuzz face pedal. Now, what I definitely want to try is if silicon is different. Silicon transistors are known to be more stable, so silicon fuzzes should be less sensitive to these kind of changes. Let's see how a very similar fuzz phase circuit, the BC108 circuit, will sound like. That's a silicon fuzz, and I'll go through all the three guitars. Very interesting. The humbucker was a bit more controlled, like a little less collapsing, but the active humbuckers went way over the top, and that became so compressed that it was already like a really cool, very different sound, like a massive amount of compression and like that sort of weird, cool mid-range coming out. Yeah, interesting. Now, what if you take a modern fuzz phase type pedal, something that will allow you to control the amount of low end going into the clipping of that circuit? It is a very similar to transistor germanium circuit that is in the capacitor germanium Vintage King, but with that beard knob, you can dial out some low end. So you can make the pedal sound kind of controlled and kind of nice and cozy, even with wild guitars, humbuckers, and maybe even with actives. We'll see about that. Don't want to say it too early. I was expecting this pedal to be much more versatile than like the OG, the original fuzz phase, but not that much. Like active Fishman pickups that sound perfect for fuzz is not something that I'm used to, let's put it this way. So it really comes down to, first of all, what kind of guitars do you use? If you use a lot of humbuckers and maybe even like EMGs, Fishmans, like active guitars, make sure to go for a fuzz if you're into this kind of big, doomy fuzz sound. Make sure to get something that is made with that in mind. Like, more modern takes on whichever type of fuzz circuitry you're into. That is, I think, the key here. If you mainly use single coil guitars, whether it's a Strat type, a Tele, whatever it is, Jazzmaster, they all work really well with whichever fuzz. So that's the safe zone, the green zone. Whatever kind of fuzz circuitry you want, traditional or modern, simple or a very complex take on it, you're gonna be fine. That's pretty much the lesson we've learned here today. All right, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, of course. And with all this tone talk aside, what really matters is to enjoy playing the guitar regardless of the rig and how good it sounds. See you in the next one.